Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be showing you guys how to make this beautiful ankara gathers gown with lace. Keep watching, let's get started. So this is the half length of the child. I'm gonna head to cut out the half length of the child. The half length I'm using is 14 inches. After determining the half length I'll be using, the next thing I did was to mark out my shoulder, the child's shoulder measurement. I divided the shoulder by 2, what I got was 6. After that, I came down with half of an inch. That's what I usually use for a shoulder slope for children wear. I came down with half of an inch. From there, I came down with 6 inches, which is the child's armhole depth. From there, I mark out my shoulder divided by 2 also, which is 6 inches. After that, I connected the two lines together. And extended the armhole line. So after that, the next thing I did was to divide the bust circumference by 4. After dividing the bust circumference by 4, I got 6.5 inches. From there, I added half of an inch because the mom doesn't want it to be tight. I added half an inch for ease and added 1 inch for seam allowance. After that, I proceeded to mark out my waist circumference divided by 4. I marked it out. From there, I added half of an inch for ease. After that, I added 1 inch for seam allowance. So that is all for the waist and the bust. So from there, I connected the two lines together. I connected from the bust to the waist, or from the waist to the bust. I connected the two lines together. So after that, the next thing I did was to mark out the neck width. For the neck width, I used 3 inches. And for the neck depth, I also used 3 inches. After that, I connected the two lines together to get my neckline. After that, I connected the half inch to the neckline to get my shoulder slope. The next thing that I did after that was to come up from my armhole with 3 inches and come in with half of an inch. From there, I connected the line to determine my armhole curve. So that is all for the front part. The next thing I did was to cut it out. This is the front part, so I'll set it aside and cut out the back part. So for the back part, I'm measuring 1 inch for the zipper allowance. 1 inch for the zipper allowance. After that, I connected all the dots together. So after that, the next thing that I did was from that zipper line, I came out for my shoulder divided by 2. I marked it out. I also came down with half of an inch for shoulder slope. After that, I came down with 6 inches for the armhole. From that 6 inch from the zipper allowance that I did, I came out with 6 inches. I connected it together. And I extended my line also, my armhole line. So the next thing I did was also to mark out my bust circumference divided by 4. I marked it out. It was half of an inch for ease and 1 inch for seam allowance. I did the same thing for the waist part also. Waist circumference divided by 4. half of an inch for ease, and 1 inch for seam allowance. After that, I connected the two lines together. So after that, the next thing that I did was to mark out my, sorry, it wasn't showing clearly. I marked out 3 inches for my neck width, and for the neck depth I came down with 7 inches because this is a V neckline. I'm making the back to be V. The back will be a V neckline. So I came down, I extended the line, the 3 inches down to the 7 inches that I marked. From there, I connected to my shoulder slope, to the child shoulder slope, sorry. Then I cut out the armhole. I went up with 3 inches from also. So I did my armhole curve. So that's all for the back part. I'll go ahead to cut it out. You cut out the places that you marked. You carefully cut it out. So that'll be all for the back. So this is the front and this is the back. So I'll go ahead to cut it out on my fabric. So this is it. I'm gonna have to cut out on my fabric, adding half of an inch on the neckline, half of an inch on the shoulder line, half of an inch on the waistline, and half of an inch on the down part. I did not add allowance on the side. Half of an inch on the neck, half of an inch on the armhole, half of an inch on the shoulder. I went ahead to cut out lining also. So the next thing that I did now is to bring my fabric, the front and the back. I'll open up the fabric and place the right side facing each other. I'll bring the right side of the front part of the back, the right side of the back and the right side of the front, right side facing each other like this. I'll go ahead and sew half of an inch on the shoulder. I'll do the same thing for the other side too. Right side facing each other. I'll go ahead and sew half of an inch on the shoulder. So half of an inch on the shoulder. And also do the same thing for the lining also. So half of an inch on the shoulder. Right side facing each other. So half of an inch on the shoulder. So this is it. After I was done, I went ahead to give it a press. I opened my seam and give it a press. I also did the same thing for the lining also. I open my seam and give it a press. So the next thing that I'm going to do now is to open up my ankara fabric. I'll place it like this, right side facing each other, right side facing each other, and I'll properly place it. After that, I'll go ahead and sew half of an inch on my neckline all the way around until I get to the other part of the back, all the way around, with half of an inch. And I'll go ahead and sew my armhole also. I'll sew half of an inch all the way around, and also extend it down half of an inch on the side also, half of an inch from the side like this all the way to the armhole, and half of an inch on the side also. After doing that, I'll come ahead and show you guys what I did. So this is it. After I was done, I went ahead to sew half of an inch on the side, half of an inch on the armhole, half of an inch on the front side, and half of an inch on the back side. So after that, I'll go ahead and notch it. So that when I turn it over, it will be relaxed. And notch it notch the armhole and notch the neck also. Do the same thing that we did for the neck also. After that, this is it. I'm gonna head to give it a nice press. Can you see how neat it looks? I'm gonna head to give it a nice press. Come ahead to give it a nice press. So after that, the next thing I did was to flip it over and added my sorry, and mark out my seam allowance. Remember that I used 1 inch for the allowance, so I have sewn in half of an inch, left with half of an inch for the seam allowance. So I marked out half of an inch for the seam allowance. I did the same thing for the two sides, half of an inch. Properly place it, make it to align. Mark out half of an inch on the bust part, and also mark out half of an inch on the waist part, and connect the two lines together. Go to your sewing machine and sew it, and run a stitch on it. After that, this is what I have. I went ahead to open the seam also and give it a nice press. I'm gonna head to give it a nice press. We are done with the upper part, so I'll go ahead and set it aside. It's looking so neat. I'll go ahead and set it aside and bring out the down parts. So this is the first part of the down. Marked out my half length and added half of an inch for joining part. You know it has a white lace on it, so I added half of an inch so I'll be able to join the lace. So the width of this material is the waist. I multiplied it by 5. That was what I have here. The waist multiplied by 5. I'm going to set it aside and bring out the lace fabric that I used for the down part. So this is lace fabric that I have used for the down part. You go ahead and measure out. You know I've already measured out my half length plus the ankara. So this is the total length of the material of the gown now. From the half length, so this is the total length from the half length to the ankara that will join to the half length, and this is the lace. This is the total length of the ankara. The material, the gown. It's also the same length. It's also the same width. The width of this and the width of the ankara is the same thing. So I'll go ahead and stitch it down all the way down until I get to the ending part. So this is this. I was done stitching it together. Can you see the way it's looking? I stitch it down. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to give this a gather stitches because it's already a gathers. So I'll go ahead and use my needle, my hand needle, to run a gather stitch all the way down until I get to the ending part. I like using needle to run a gathers on my gown because I feel it gives it more volume. It makes the gathers to come out so fine and neat. So I'm gonna head to gather it all the way around until I get to the down part. I'm gonna head to give it to run the gathers. So this is how the gathers is looking like. You can run the gathers all the way down from the beginning to end. We run the gather stitches until you get to the ending part of your fabric. So this is it. I'm done with the gathers. So the next thing that I'll go ahead and do now is to bring my half length and also bring the down part, the one that I've already gathered. I'll go ahead to my sewing machine now and sew on it. So after I'm done, this is what it looks like. Can you see that our gown is almost there? See how neat it's looking? Our gown is almost there. So the next thing that I'm going to do now is to cut out my lining for it. I'll set it aside. Before setting it aside, I'll mark out where I want the lining to be. From the half length, I'm going to mark it down where I want the lining to be. So from the half length, I marked out about 14 inches. That is where I want the lining to stop. I don't want the lining to get all the way down. So this is the lining that I'll be making use of. I marked it out, the 14 inches, and for the width, for the width is my waist by multiply by 2. I multiply my waist by 2. I also run the gathers on the lining also and flip and sew it like, see the way I place it like this is where you're going to go to your sewing machine and sew on it until you get to the end of part. So this is the gown. I am done adding the lining. Can you see how neat the inside is looking? This is the inner part and this is its outer part. I'm done. The next thing that I'm going to do now is to flip it over like this, over to the back side. And the next thing we're going to do is to add our zipper. Before I add my zipper, I'll go ahead and sew where I want the zipper to stop from. So I'm gonna head to add my zipper. This is how it's looking. I'm done with my zipper. Can you see the way it's looking so neat? Our gown is ready, guys. So the next thing after adding zipper is to hem the down part. Go ahead to your sewing machine and fold it in like this with 1 inch, half of an inch, and also half of an inch in. So also the lace fabric like this, hem it down. After you're done, that is all for the gown. So this is our gown. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys on my next video. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you guys on my next video. Bye.